Hey everyone, I'm Amanda with Sweet Pieces and welcome to our YouTube channel. I'm going to be talking to you today about how to use Topcoat. So we use General Finishes High Performance Topcoat to top coat the General Finishes furniture paint, as well as to top coat the General Finishes gel stains. You can also use it to top coat other chalk type paints. We love Jolie matte finish paint, which Jolie has recently launched a furniture varnish, so we always like to stay within product lines. So for the Jolie line, we would recommend that. But any of the chalk type paints, you could potentially use this product for. I would always refer to your local stockist for the best results. We know which products work with what product lines, so we can certainly guide you if you have purchased product from us. So how do you apply top coat? So top coat is a protective coat that basically goes on after your paint and after any of your decorative layers. So if you've done glaze or any kind of dry brushing or a metallic finish, your top coat would be your last finish. So high performance top coat, by the way, is just an awesome top coat. It has a UV protectant in it, so it is going to protect your pieces from sunlight. And it also is incredibly durable and also comes in several different sheen levels. So we offer at Sweet Pieces high performance flat. We also offer it in satin and we offer it in gloss. And I'm gonna get you guys a little bit closer here and show you the difference between the three different sheen levels. So basically, we've painted this little table, such a cute little table in alabaster. So that's a General Finishes color. And because this is a white color, we always recommend whenever you're doing whites that you have to prime it with a General Finishes stain blocker first if you're going to seal it with a top coat. So here is the issue whenever you're working with white paint. White paint, when you use a penetrating top coat on top of it, can cause bleed through. So there might be dyes, stains, tannins that are in your substrate, whatever you're starting with. And if you put a top coat on top of them, that can pull through stains. So this is just a quick little example. This is with stain blocker. This is without stain blocker. So you could potentially have your finish turn pink if you don't use stain blocker under white paint before you top coat. So anytime even if your top coat says that it's non-yellowing, you have to understand that that top coat isn't what is yellowing. It's actually pulling stains, dyes, tannins from underneath the substrate through the top coat. That's what's causing the stain. So in order to stop that, you need to have a stain blocking primer on there if you're sealing with a penetrating sealer like this. When you're sealing with wax, which is what you would do on your chalk type paints, then that's not really a concern. I've tried a lot of stain blocking primers out there, hands down, no doubt about it. General Finishes stain blocking primer is the best. So we did 2 coats of the stain blocking primer on this first. We let it dry about an hour in between coats. Then we put a coat of alabaster on it, which is a really pretty General Finishes color that just has just a hint of off-white. It's not a stark white, it's not a super creamy white, it's just a really pretty in-between white. So how do you top coat? So there's a couple of different ways that you can go about this. You can use a foam brush, you can use a Klingon brush, which are my favorite brushes to use with the General Finishes product line, or you can also use one of these little handy painter pads, which are also great. So I'm gonna show you a couple of different ways to do this. So I'm gonna start by showing you with the Klingon. So I have opened I'm using satin today, the high performance satin. I've stirred my container. You wanna make sure you stir it. You don't wanna shake it. It's not like a martini, you gotta stir it. So I'm stirring this up real good. I'm gonna dip my brush into my top coat. And here's the thing with top coat. You wanna be somewhat liberal, okay? You wanna have a little bit of a milkiness to the sheen. You don't want to have it dripping and you don't want to have it too dry where it's like drying on contact basically. So I'm putting a bit on my brush here and then I'm going to put it on. I'm gonna go smoothly and I'm gonna get it on there and I'm gonna stop touching it. I know, like, I like to just, you know, keep going back and touching it, and you can't do that. So I'm gonna go onto the top edge here and go around. And I'm just going back because I had a little bit of a drippiness there. I'm gonna go along the edges. It's super simple. And like I said, you just wanna have a little bit of a milky film on there, somewhat liberal, and brush away. So this product can also be sprayed, and spraying this product will change your life. It is pretty amazing and it's super easy. But the thing to understand about spraying it is you would normally thin your paints when you're spraying, but you don't need to thin this product because it's already thin. So let's say you're doing a very large tabletop and you don't have the opportunity to spray. Then what I like to do is I pour it out onto a paper plate. So I'm gonna stir this. Anytime you're working with product that's water-based and it's sitting for a little while, it's a good idea to stir it. I'm gonna just pour a little bit out onto the plate. And I'm going to take my little painter pad here, okay? And I'm gonna dip it into the plate. Now I get extra cautious, so if you look at this, it's not quite even. So what I do is I take a brush, and this, you know, you guys know I'm a self-taught DIYer. I've done all this by just figuring it out. So this is what has worked for me, and I've done a lot of different large finish, you know, tabletops and stuff with this, so it works really well. So once you get your product spread out on your pad evenly, and that's what that's gonna help you do, you're just gonna take this and you're gonna drag it. And again, you want that to be nice and like milky. And it's a little bit hard to see on this surface, but you don't want it to be too thin. But I can tell I have a nice sheen on there. I'm just going back because I had a little dripping. And there you go. So let me talk to you a little bit about spraying. So when you're spraying this product, sometimes because it's thin and sometimes it will spray out a lot, you have to make sure that you're adjusting your nozzle. We love the Finish Max Super by HomeRite. We actually just started carrying this in the store, so if you want one, you can just jump on our website and purchase one. We have them in stock right now. I've used this sprayer for years. It's awesome. It works great. It's really easy. It's geared towards DIYers. So it has this little adjustable nozzle on the side. So you're gonna adjust that down to almost the lowest level when you're spraying top coat. So basically, you know, I spray top coat and sometimes it starts to it's thick and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's not gonna look good. But once it dries, it flattens out so nicely. So, you know, kind of have patience with yourself with that. You can also use a foam brush for top coating. Personally, I don't know. I've just never really gotten into using the foam brushes. I know some people in the industry swear by them. I know there's a couple gals over at General Finishes that absolutely love using them, and they've kind of, you know, figured out a way to make it work. I just personally, I don't like them, but some people do, so it's totally fine. It's all about finding what works for you. So we do carry these as well. They do give you a nice smooth finish, but the beauty about these products that we carry here is that they're all very self-leveling. So you don't really have to worry too much about brush strokes. And also these Klingon brushes that we use, they're synthetic and they're bleeping awesome. They really help to cut down on those brush strokes. So don't worry about that too much if you're using the right tools. So how do you actually clean this product up once you've, you know, top coated and you're good and now you're ready to finish up your project? You're gonna go ahead and clean. And luckily for you, it's easy peasy, which is what we like for most of our products here at Sweet Pieces. It's soap and water cleanup. You do want to make sure that you get to cleaning up the product pretty quickly, because if you let your brushes dry with this product in them, they will harden and they will become ruined and you'll be very upset. So don't do that. So make sure you're cleaning up right away. If you are not going to clean up right away, let's say you're, it's bedtime and your project isn't finished, you can wrap it with like saran wrap or put a plastic bag over it and put a rubber band. It will stay nice overnight, but you do want to make sure that you are cleaning them after they're done. So how do you clean them? So we carry a cleaning condition soap bar here at Sweet Pieces. One of our local artisans makes this soap bar, and it's nice and gentle, which is really good for the natural and the synthetic bristles of all the brushes that we carry here. And it also has lavender and lemon in it. So it's nice and refreshing and relaxing, which is what we love when we're doing DIY projects, right? So that is on the website. You can use that. If you are not using our bar soap, you just want to use something that's mild. So people always say to us, can I use Dawn? And I always say, well, would you wash your hair with Dawn every day? So what would your hair look like if you wash it with Dawn? So you do want to be mindful of what products you're using. You want to use something that's mild. And then after your piece is sealed and dried, how do you take care of it? So with the high performance top coat, it is going to become cured to its full water wear and chemical resistance within about 30 days. So each day that passes, your finish is going to become harder and harder. After that 30 days, it's going to be really strong and durable. And at that point in time, you can pretty much clean it with whatever you want. Just keeping in mind, the more harsh of a chemical that you use, the faster your finishes are going to break down. If you're cleaning them with, scrubby sponges and bleach every day, you're probably, it's going to break down faster than if you were just a little bit more gentle with it. The other thought I want you to keep in mind is that I always like to do more than one coat of top coat on anything that is like a high use surface. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll do another, either a second or a third coat on the top of a piece, but then maybe on the bottom of the piece I'm only doing, one coat. So that's completely up to you. So you can do, you can certainly layer this product. You can do multiple layers, 2, 3, 4 coats. You just want to make sure that it's drying in between coats properly. And what is the dry time between coats? Probably about 1 to 2 hours. You want to wait in between your top coats. And same thing if you're spraying it, you want to make sure that you're doing that as well. So I'm just going to come a little closer to you guys and just show you the different finishes here. So you can see it's labeled, that flat, the satin, and the gloss. Can we see that on camera? Good. So one last thing I want to talk to you about is what can happen when you're working with darker colors. Sometimes if you're working with like a black, the flatter the sheen, the more likely your finish is going to become foggy. So if you have, if you're doing a flat top coat on a dark color, we recommend doing like a satin top coat first, and then doing your flat top coat as your last coat. So whatever your last coat of finish is what the sheen is actually going to be. So satin is probably our most popular finish. Flat is really making a comeback. It's a beautiful finish. So if you're doing that flat but you want durability, I would do a couple of coats of satin first and then put the flat on top of it. And if you do get a little bit of a fogginess, then you know that you've put a little bit too thick of a top coat in flat on. And it is a little bit challenging to fix it. Sometimes you can lightly sand it. You could put another coat of the satin on it. And then the worst case scenario is that you have to repaint it. So I hope that you got a little bit of something out of this video today. Teach you a little bit about top coats, but don't be afraid. Whatever it is that you're working on, it's just paint. Have fun with it. Enjoy the journey, and subscribe if you want to see more of our videos. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for watching. Want to learn more? Subscribe now.